Hey everybody, welcome back to C3 Mods. This is episode 13, air conditioning service. So I finally got my Vintage air conditioning service up and running, and it wasn't without its troubles. So I purchased the actual interior kit. I purchased that like 6 or 7 years ago because I needed to get that in to start working on the interior, getting the interior finished up. And it wasn't until last year when I bought the front runner kit for the LS that I got the compressor. It actually came with the front runner kit, which is one of the reasons I didn't buy it when I purchased the main kit. Initially, when I tried to get it up and running, I couldn't get 12 volts out to the trinary switch or the pressure switch, which powers your compressor. So after much troubleshooting and looking at the same thing over and over and over and over again and talking to techs at Vintage Air, the fact that I had bought the unit so long ago, it was out of warranty. Whether it was run or not was irrelevant. And I kind of knew that, but so I took their advice and I bought a new ECU. If you're not familiar with it, Vintage Air is a fully contained system. It's the only wires that you really need to hook up is power and ground. So it's got an ECU, just like a car engine, computer. It runs the whole system. I got a new ECU, got a new temperature probe, didn't do anything. Still couldn't get the relay to energize for the compressor. I tested the relays were good. The only thing that I could figure was the controller unit. So I ordered a new controller unit. It came with a new wiring harness. So I used the new controller unit with the harness that it came with. Still nothing. I called my friend Chris. I FaceTimed him and we did some troubleshooting, and he said, are you sure that main plug going into the ECU on the main harness, which by the way is the only thing I did not replace, are you sure those pins are good? Are they pushed in all the way? Are they locked? And of course, yes, I've checked them 1,000 times. Well, guess what? I didn't check good enough. So you have the green wire that feeds the heater solenoid, and you have the blue wire that feeds the compressor relay. And that blue wire, apparently when they made the harness, was just short enough that it was pulling on the locking pins. It actually broke them. And when I would plug the main plug into the ECU, it would just push that blue wire out. It never connected. So I ended up making a pigtail, and it works fine. So I went ahead and charged the AC. Works great. Works as advertised. I drove around a little bit yesterday. It was putting out 47 degrees, running around town. It cooled the car fine. And I'll go ahead and show you what I did, how I did it. All right, so for those of you that aren't familiar with my car through my earlier videos, I'm running an LS3 with a Vintage Air front runner system on it, and it came with all the accessories, including the Sandan R134A compressor. It came with all the lines and fittings. I actually cut all these to length. I used the clamps supplied by Vintage Air. Came with all the O-rings, the oil for the O-rings for all their fittings. And it came with the adapter blocks right here to put on the compressor. So on the Vintage Air system, for your high and low side fittings, they're right here. And these, as I said earlier, these are the quick disconnect type. So we'll take the caps off. We'll get our quick disconnects. We'll get them on there. And we'll get ready to pull a vacuum. Okay, so we got the system hooked up to the car, got the vacuum pump on, the manifold gauges open, and the quick disconnect valves open, and we're drawing a vacuum down here for about an hour. So here's our manifold gauges. You can see down here, we're at negative 30. So over here's negative 30. That's where we want to be. On the Vintage Air system, your high and low sides are right here. We got those hooked up, everything's open. And we're gonna draw a vacuum, get the heat out here, and then in about an hour, we'll check for leaks. This is the Cozy Vac pump I got, and if you can see here on the intake manifold, it even comes with 2 different size Schrader valves, depending upon what type of air conditioning gauges you have and what size outlet fittings are on your yellow hose. Everything works, so hope you enjoy. Thanks.